So I'm going to ask you, because you've been doing this for a while. You're very successful at what you do. And you know this guy's got to provide for your daughter and your grandkids out there. I'm curious to see if you think this is a good idea. And maybe if you do, what suggestions, what advice would you give him? All right, y'all, I want to introduce you to a couple of guys here. This is Mike. This is Golden State Picker. Some of y'all may know Mike. He's the gentleman who made that nice sign for me up there. Check that out. Made it all by yourself, didn't you?
Yep.
And send it off to me? Yeah. Man, that must have cost a lot of money to ship that thing.
Media mail.
Very good. And we've got Adam. This is his son-in-law. He's a Buccaneers fan. He was telling me at breakfast today. I'm like,
TB12.
That's the hard part right now.
And Mike lives in California, obviously, Golden State Picker. He used to be Rideshare Reseller. We got to get you to re-sign this thing up here. Where you at?
Rideshare Reseller, right there.
Right above Dante, right here. So you were one of the first in the shed back there, right before COVID hit, right?
Yeah, right before.
So he was in here. We did an interview, and we talked about him because how long have you been reselling?
4 years. Coming up April with 4 years.
4 years. Okay, 4 years. So how long, Adam, have you been reselling?
Right about 3 years.
3 years. So you started doing it, and you called him like, dude, you got to do this. Is that how it went down?
That's how it went down. And
okay.
He saw me doing it, and he's in the Coast Guard. Needed a few extra bucks, and that's how it started.
Okay.
So it just
Coast Guard. You got a family. Got kids?
Yeah, 3 kids and a wife. Very expensive wife.
Oh, she didn't watch this thing.
No, she knows. She knows.
Oh, she knows she's expensive.
It's expensive.
Okay. Very good. So you've been in the Coast Guard for quite a while then.
Yeah, a little over 10 years now.
10 years. All right. Well, thank you for your service. I appreciate that. So the plan is to transition out of the Coast Guard and make a go at doing a full-time reselling business. Now, does your wife make any income?
As of right now, no.
Okay.
She just finished her personal trainer program.
Okay.
So she has 2 clients, so it's a small income, but we're hoping to build that higher.
Okay, so the idea, so as you transition out of there, maybe she can ramp up her income and you can do this and you can make enough money to survive. Okay, very good. I like that. And got the kids. And, he's making a ton of money, but you live out you live out here, you live out on the East Coast. You live in North Carolina, right? Okay, so you don't have the honey holes that he has.
Not even close.
Right?
What?
Not even close.
I have to work for my stuff.
The land of milk and honey out there in California pickers. I watch Matt, part-time picker, all these guys picking out there. I'm like, holy cow, there's like more stuff sitting on that flea market blanket than I see all day on a Saturday.
Oh, I have it delivered to me. I don't pick. I have it. You're picking? I have it. I have it delivered.
That's pretty good. So anyway, you pick probably more of the same similar stuff that I would pick out here. Not quite as valuable, but there's still stuff to find and there's still money to be made. I want to talk about that, but I want to first get into your backstory and talk about how you started reselling, what you started to resell, what's your plan in order to turn it into a full-time reselling gig. All right, so I've got you changed. I've got you in the hot seat because I'm going to grill you a little bit.
All right.
Because I've already grilled him. He did a video, but, he's kind of in another league. He's making so much money here. So I got to ask you, so what got you started? I have a feeling it's him that got you started, but how did it all begin for you 3 years ago?
Oh, marrying his daughter.
Okay.
About a year after that, noticed he started picking. He showed me a couple videos from...
Because you were doing YouTube right off the bat.
I was doing YouTube pretty soon, pretty much.
Then he showed me the Reseller. He showed me a couple of other people videos, and I just started watching them. Okay. And I saw he was making a little bit of money.
So if he was showing you Reezy stuff, were you more interested in the Amazon side of it at the beginning, or were you?
I was interested in making any sort of money.
Making money.
On top
because you married his daughter, and his daughter's got a high price tag.
Yeah, she's expensive. He spoiled her to death.
Rotten, I see.
Spoiled her to death.
All right, so you're really it was an interest in how much money he was making, thinking, man, I can do this.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, it was like a couple extra bucks in my pocket to go have fun with the wife. Okay. More date nights.
And so what was the first few things you started picking? You started flipping. You were doing eBay?
Yep, doing eBay starting out. First couple things was a couple clothes.
Shoes? You were doing everything.
Shoes, Ralph Lauren clothing, a lot of polos is what I really got started.
Where were you sourcing?
Savers and Goodwill, and a couple mom and pop thrift stores.
And
out
this
in the
is
Bay
where
Area.
in the Bay Area,
Bay
but
Area,
not necessarily
California.
He was more north towards San
Francisco.
Francisco.
About an hour and a half north of him.
Okay, and you were finding stuff up there.
I was finding pretty decent stuff, small electronics and whatever I thought what might make money. Look it up and started making money.
Do you have that marquee item that like you really was like, holy cow, I can't believe I just made this much money doing this much work?
The best thing I would say was I found a source in Napa Valley.
Okay.
He was getting wine crates for free actually.
Okay.
And he was selling them to me for pennies on the dollar. Fill up the whole bed of the truck for, I don't know, 25, 50
and
bucks.
these are actual wine
actual
crates.
Wine crates
these aren't
from
like
actual
Napa media crates.
These are actually from the winery.
Right, okay.
And,
Different wineries.
Different wineries. Yeah, I would split them apart, sell them on eBay for $500-$600 for like 50 of them. Just unloading them until the guy found out I was selling them on eBay, and he got mad and wouldn't sell them to me anymore.
Really?
But that was my like number one thing. I was like, hey, I'm making money here. Let's ride it. Let's go.
Awesome. Good. All right, so you were in the Coast Guard. So when you're working for the Coast Guard here, you don't have complete control over where you're at and where you live.
Exactly.
So you obviously are back here now. So tell me about that.
All right, 2020, moved from California through to North Carolina, where I'm at now. Big difference is right during COVID. Picking was completely opposite. Wearing Bay Area electronics out the yin yang. North Carolina, not so much. It's $5, $10, $20, $25 items max. So it was a huge change.
Just the quality. I was telling you, I think last time you were here, I was like, I've seen one Marantz like in my life, right? I mean, Bose is high end, and I can't find that out here. It's a little bit different because, I mean, let's face it, some of those folks who live out where you live, I mean, they're into music and having that high-end electronics and stuff, and you just don't see that as much out here. There are things to pick out here, but they're different sort of things, so you saw that. So as you came across, what did you do? Did you bring your whole store with you?
No, I can only move so much stuff. I only got so many pounds to move that the Coast Guard paid for. So sold off all my inventory, got pretty much what I paid for it, maybe a little bit more just to get rid of it, get my money back, and it restarted from square one once maybe about a month after we moved in.
Okay, and the challenges picking back here because you're near the coast, North Carolina, obviously.
Right on
he's
the
on the Coast Guard.
Jacksonville.
Pretty smart guy. That's why I was a teacher. So
you're a teacher?
Yeah.
You are? Dang, I wanted to be in that class.
Biggest difference picking, obviously there's different inventory, but what are some of the other challenges of picking here as opposed to, the Bay Area?
Bay Area, I could walk anywhere. Walk to the thrift store. I'm driving 15-20 minutes each store from the house. Closest grocery store is 20 minutes away. Okay. So huge difference.
20, that sounds pretty close compared to here.
About here.
I know, that's what I'm talking about. For me, that's good. I wish I could,
Yeah.
Although we have Walmart not too far away, but let me tell you, that's about all there is. So anyway, but yeah, definitely there's more cost to picking, and you're not finding as much in one certain location.
Yeah, and the thrift stores are astronomical prices here. They sell for what they sell for on eBay, so there's not really much margin at thrift stores.
North Carolina is not particularly good for thrift stores. That's been my experience. Now, I have found some things for sure. So where now have you transitioned? Because sourcing's a big deal, especially if you want to go full-time, like you've said. Where were you sourcing? Where are you sourcing?
Right now is yard sales, and I've really gotten into storage sheds recently. Okay. Storage sheds are my big money maker right now, and trying to find them.
So are you buying them online, doing the online auctions, or do they have still the local auctions?
A little bit of both. My first storage shed that we bought, me and the wife, we were yard selling. There was a sign that said storage auction, 11 o'clock. We looked at the time. We're like, oh, let's do it. Let's try it.
Did you buy some?
We bought one. We spent $400 on our very first storage shed.
How did it turn out?
It turned out really well. We made about $500 profit off of it.
There, I like it.
And that's what got us hooked on storage sheds, and I've been doing it ever since.
Awesome. All right, I want to ask a bunch of questions, but I got to dig into that storage unit really quick because it sounds to me like you're going to trend towards yard sales storage units if you're going to ramp this thing up full time.
Exactly.
So tell me about that first unit. What did you find? And I'm assuming that what you had in there was enough that you would move forward and want to get more. So tell me about the first unit.
Definitely. So the first one, it was completely full. It was a 10 by 20 storage shed,
10 by 20.
Slam packed from the front to the back.
For $400.
$400. Slam
That's a good
full.
deal.
Yeah. The biggest thing, what we started bidding, there was two 65-inch TVs in there.
Okay.
We sold one for I think $200.
Okay.
The other one was broken. cracked.
Okay.
Screen completely cracked.
Okay.
A bunch of...
You got half your money back right there.
Exactly.
Okay.
A bunch of video games in there. There was 2 Xboxes, 2 Nintendo 64s, a Nintendo
Wow.
Wii.
Well, there's your profit right there.
Exactly.
You're already
There
in
was
profit.
PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and a bunch of crap. A lot of crap. A lot of junk.
So I've always been afraid to do storage units for a few reasons. One is I don't want to deal with all the other stuff that's in there because you got to get rid of it. So I want to talk about that for a second. But there's also unique ways to get rid of it where you can actually make money off of it, or at least not lose money by getting rid of it. And I think there's a few more things that really turned me off. You drove up here. Yeah. You know, we're right in metropolitan area, right? We're in the middle of everything.
Oh,
right?
you've got everything here. You've got the best thing going, Walmart.
So to sell locally here for me is a big challenge. You know, it's 30 minutes before you get to a somewhat populated area that doesn't even, remotely come close to some areas. But I think where you're at, I think I know where you're at. There's a decent population.
Yeah, it's a decent. It's tons of Marines. It's a Marine base. The city is run by the Marines, basically. Right. So tons of people move in and out there.
So you can do a lot of Facebook Marketplace. So even if you're finding some furniture, you're reselling, but you got to have space. So tell me a little bit about what you're doing with all the other stuff you find in these stores.
So I've actually found 3 people that really helped me out clearing out the storage shed. I found a scrap metal guy that I've actually sold rims to from my first storage shed, and he comes picks up everything metal that I just want to get rid of. He comes straight to the storage shed, picks it up for me.
And so he's taking stuff for free. You're not.
Yep, he's just taking it for free. All a bunch of junk that I don't want, have.
And he's scrapping it and making
whatever he makes on it. Okay. I have another guy who's my furniture guy. He comes. He actually buys all my furniture for me or from me. I'll sell him $20, $50 a dresser, cheap, just to.
So
get my
you
money
could
back.
get more money, but you would need more space.
Exactly.
And it's taking up time, so you're making the decision, because this is, I think, where people miss it, right? Yeah. I'm cheap, y'all. I want to make, my $8 on this thing. I don't want to get rid of it. But I think that can hinder people, especially if you're doing, you want to sell those big hitters and find outlets for the other stuff. Do you have a flea marketeer who wants to come by and get your stuff?
Yeah, I have one guy who just picks up all my leftover random crap. Okay. He'll pick up mattresses, bed frames, blankets, anything that I don't want. I just say, have it, take it. He comes, picks it up for free.
Okay, very good. So how many units now have you bought?
I've bought 8 so far within the past few months.
Any just losers?
No losers yet.
Some not as good as others.
Some not as good as others.
Any regrets? How's that?
I would say no regrets, actually.
Not one, so you're happy with everyone you've bought. I'm happy with
all the storage sheds I've gotten. I've made at least my money back on every single one, if not 5, 10, 20, 50 times what I've sold.
Well, if I only made my money back on it, that would be a regret for me. Yeah. But I understand what you're saying, right? Because you're putting work into it. Yeah. But so let's just take that first unit, because my guess is it's your first one. You've probably sold off almost everything in it.
Oh yeah, all of that's gone.
Okay, so you turned 400 into about what do you think?
I would say on the first one, 400 was in about 1,300.
Okay, it's not too bad. And and give me an idea of time. I know it's difficult but listing and
time. I would say I sold everything on that one within 2 weeks of getting it, because most of it was Facebook Marketplace. I would just sell it for cheaper than what it was on eBay or online or at the store, and then just
taking the big stuff. But you were selling stuff on eBay at that point.
I was selling stuff on eBay at that point.
So the video games and stuff like that.
Yeah, video games, all the high-end electronics on eBay, like dishes, like Pyrex ware, like small dishes, and kitchenware. A lot of them up $10, $15 on Facebook Marketplace.
Okay, cool. All right, so we brought you in here because you wanted to I wanted to talk to you about making this full time. So I'm going to ask you some numbers here, right?
Yep.
Because I want to know what you're making now-ish. Got too personal here, and what it is that you need to make in order to leave this job behind and make this thing full time. Because clearly you think you can do it, right? And I've done that to some degree. But I think it's interesting at your age to make this decision and to leave this job behind with a family. That seems like a lot of pressure to me. And it's this guy's daughter here. So I want to get his opinion over here as well. If this is something you think he should even do at all. So about how much money do you think you're going to need full-time reselling in order to meet all of your needs for your family? How much money do you think you need?
After taxes, I'd say about 50.
Okay, that's like bare minimum.
That's bare
right?
minimum. About
to pay
50.
your bills
That's
and
pay the
keep
bills,
your
pay
kids
everything.
fed,
Yeah,
right?
keep them fed.
Okay.
Maybe not the wife's haircut twice a month, but
And of course, obviously she could work with you in the
Yep.
business, or she could do her own thing and bring in some money. But
exactly.
about 50, and that's where I live as well. I think 50 can get it done. I know a lot of people where you're done. 50 gets you thrown in jail.
50 will get you a freeway location.
Yeah, that's right. It might get you a blanket out
Might
there.
get you a blanket and a flappy tent.
So, but in certain areas of the country, I think you could do that. So to ramp it up to make that much money a year, what do you think? What are the steps that you have in your mind that you think are going to make this possible for you?
So as of right now, I mean, I do thrifting and picking once a week on a Saturday if the wife doesn't have an appointment or have clients over or whatever. But normally about once a week, I do my picking. So ramp it up, more storage sheds, more thrift stores.
So basically more of what you're doing,
what I'm doing, bigger
just
volume.
now you're going to have more time because you're not putting in. How many hours a week you working?
I work 8 to 4 every single day, and sometimes I work nights as well.
Wow. So yeah, that's a lot of time. So you're not putting in a ton of time.
Not at all. I would say probably on average 8 hours a week total.
Okay. And you really enjoy it.
I love
you
it.
like it.
Oh, I
Okay,
love
so that's
it,
the
yeah.
key. When I have people ask me about this, if you're in love with the idea of not having to go to work every day, it might not be for you.
Yeah.
If you enjoy it, it might be for you. So I'm going to ask you, because you've been doing this for a while. You're very successful at what you do. And this guy's got to provide for your daughter and your grandkids out there. I'm curious to see if you think this is a good idea. And maybe if you do, what suggestions, what advice would you give him?
Yeah, I think it's highly doable. I've talked about it on my channel many times, that somebody like Adam, who is just starting out, lays the foundation. The key to moving into full-time is to have the foundation and know that you can make it. So you need certain things in place. Hopefully he's learning that from me, buying correctly, networking.
Because he's got time, right? So you're talking about laying a foundation now. Even how far away are we from this decision?
2.5, 3 years.
2.5.
Yeah.
So it's good timing, right?
So anybody who's doing it, you've got to lay the foundation on anything. You've got the building, and you got to lay that foundation. You got to create networking, both for selling stuff, finding stuff, knowledge, that kind of thing, buying correctly. Figuring out your expenses. One of the biggest things you need is discipline. You have to have a disciplined routine. Kevin has one. Kevin does this day, this time. There's this routine. Once you become a full-time picker, it's a 7-day-a-week job. Right. Because if you're selling on eBay, so you've got to do all of these kind of things.
It is 7 days a week.
Oh yeah,
it's 7.
Which you already know because you're doing it on your off days.
Exactly.
Right. So you've got to you got to remember that if you're making $40,000 a year and you want to basically transition into reselling, that 40,000's gone. So that means you need another 40,000 on the other end to replace that. And if you're living at 80 and you're trying to take away 40.
Right. And that's what I would see as a teacher. I was making, and people were like, no, you were making. I'm like, no, dude, trust me. That's what I was making. I was making, my last year teaching, I was making 41. I had been teaching for 21 years. I was making 41.
Yeah.
Right. So I had been living for a decade supplementing my income with eBay already. Yeah. So it wasn't like I could just leave that behind. We were already living off of eBay money, right? And so I think you might have an opportunity to do what he's talking about here, which is to basically live on one salary and start building your cushion in the other. And then when you transition, I'm assuming that's what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. You need to be able to save that money so that when you get into the picking, it's comfortable. You don't want to be feeling stressed. You've got healthcare. You've got all kinds of these things that you got to do. So you just got to continue to work at it during those formative years, those foundation years. If you build those foundation years, you will make it if you've got, the sources and stuff. It's weird. You will grow. I grew. Kevin grew.
And I think sourcing is you're talking about making relationships, and I really never did that here. I wasn't interested in it because I like going to garage sales. I like having fun, whatever.
Yes.
But I think if I didn't have, YouTube income and all kinds of different incomes coming into my household right now, and I was purely dependent, because I'm not going back to teaching, right? Yeah. If all this stuff, this video and this camera and all this stuff falls apart, I'm making a go of it full-time reselling. I know I can do it. I have no doubt I can do it. But the biggest change I would do is I would literally go knocking on doors of different companies and stuff, trying to get rid of things that they don't want anymore. I would make as many connections as I can possibly make.
That's that networking, right?
Yep. I would be knocking on doors. I'd be talking to family, friends, people who work in factory. I would be doing everything to make those connections, because you just never know that connection you're going to find.
What it's going to lead to. That's it. I don't think you can. I'm not knocking this, but I don't think you can just make a living going to Goodwill.
No. Well, it depends on where you're at, but it's very, very difficult.
Yeah, you need to have a spider web of stuff coming out. And you'll be amazed at how these people who are in your network will actually help you. They do want to help you.
Yeah, and I know some people, some full-time resellers, that they have one or two sources. That's all. If you find the right source, you can do really, really well. I'm not suggesting only having one or two, but you know what? If you have one or two and you have 2 or 3 backups, you're in pretty good shape. It beats the heck out of for me it doesn't, because I'm going to garage sales because I just flat love them.
I love them too.
But I do think getting a card. Throw out your social media here if you got a second. What are you on Instagram?
I'm on Instagram and TikTok right now. Coasty_picker.
Coasty. All right. Well, we'll put it up on the screen here, or put it in the video description below. But starting, I tell my folks all the time, get a QR code, get a card,
business
get all
card.
that stuff. Hand them out when you're out at places. You'd be shocked. I get phone calls. I know you have contacts, people that are out picking. How often do you get stuff from people that you know?
I'm getting stuff right now while on vacation. I've got pickers out there. I do. I have one of my main friends. He's looking for me. If he sees some cool lamps or something, anything, he'll text me saying, "What do you want to do?" I say, "Pick it up for me." I get home. I give him the money. He doesn't want anything on top of it, but a lunch.
Right.
I give him a lunch, and it's just, that's that.
And you'll do that for him.
And I'll
with
do
the things
that for him.
Wants, right?
Certain things, like I will run interference, not to say, but if he sees something coming out of Savers, I'll get it for him. Say, hey, there's this. So you scratch his back, and he scratches your back, and that's what it's about.
Gotcha. All right, so there you go. So now you're getting advice from me and him. We agree that I think to go full time.
Yep.
And I think, doing storage lockers, doing all that stuff, I think that's exactly what you need to do. But on top of that, start trying to find those relationships and building them. I think that is the key going forward, especially you've seen these Goodwill prices, y'all. You've seen these prices at thrift stores, right? It's getting harder and harder. Garage sales were probably going to happen that way too, because of jerks like me out there, videotaping us at garage sales, right?
Everywhere I go, they say, "Hey, I saw the Commonwealth." Even in California, I saw the Commonwealth picker doing a garage sale, and I said, "I think it's worth more." I go, he's following me around everywhere.
But I do think that because people have to get rid. You moved, right? And you just got to get rid of stuff, and so there's always going to be that market, but. I think that those are all keys. But hey, I appreciate you stopping by. I appreciate you stopping by as well. And we'll follow you. Maybe we'll have you back here in a year or two and see, or maybe 3 when you start doing this full time, and see how you're doing and kind of mark your progress.
All right,
would you guys come back here and you guys sign this thing for me? All right. We'll put it on camera.
Where's it go?
We got whenever we have visitors right here. He used to be Rideshare Reseller.
Well, where
so
was
you got to
right up here? Right up there. That was look at that. Now I got to come down here. Now it's Golden. Watch me misspell it. State Picker.
There you go.
And
there you go.
There you
come
go.
sign it too. And I'm gonna give you a gift here. I'm gonna get this ready for you over here, so you can. The biggest thing we forgot, the best advice is if you don't have one of these, you're never going to go full time.
I'm going to tell you, people, these things are a quality. I mean, these are the Gucci.
Commonwealthpicker.com.
Oh, God.
There you go. Here, look, I'm going to give you some bubble bucks.
Oh, my God.
And accounting. We didn't talk about accounting. That's key. MyResellerGenie.com right there. Code Commonwealth, 15% off. Very good. How's your bookkeeping?
You keep books? I sell books.
You got to pay taxes?
I sell books.
What are taxes?
Anyway, thank y'all for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, y'all, come check out this shirt. I love this shirt right here. What do you think of that? Reminds me of my old SoCal days. I like that. Who designed that for you, huh?
You know what? That was a Fiverr.
Okay,
That was
cool.
a Fiverr.
This was Fiverr too. So I'm going to sign this. And actually, we're both going to sign both these shirts. Got a St. Jude tie in here. I'm going to throw in some other goodies. We're going to auction this off for charity. We're going to auction this off over at St. Jude. So go check out the eBay store. We'll put a link, or maybe I'll put my QR code in here. You can go through that. And you advertise it on your channel,
I will too. Yeah, I will put this in there.
Raise some money for St. Jude. All right. Whoop. I'm already messing it up. There you go. There's mine.
Mine is kind of different.
Be careful.
Very simple.
There you go. All right, we'll do this one. I got to learn. Gary Vee showed me how to do this.
Oh, Gary Vee did? That's
but
cool.
He does it better than me, so I think you just got to go a little slower. There you go. I'll put a little CWP in this one. There you go.
You know what? I'll do a signature here of go slow.
Signing on fabric isn't easy.
Oh, yeah. And then I'll put GSP.
All right.
There.
Very cool. So you guys will find this over there on eBay, and we'll give the money to St. Jude. Awesome.
Cool.
Thank you.